Hello beer tubers and welcome to probably the biggest brewery showcase video I have ever done. Because we have quite a few different beers to showcase in this video. So I thought I'd do this as a brewery showcase video because these are not well-known beers outside of Denmark at all. So I thought I'd get them grouped together and make this a brewery showcase. So today we're doing a brewery showcase on the Hancock Brewery.
And thanks to Hancock and thanks to my good old friend Jesper for bringing the beer.
Yeah, so why don't you tell the story, Dad?
I have this old friend from way back in my youth. He's a salesman and are selling products to breweries and dairy and stuff like that. And he came to this brewery called Hancock, and he told them that his old friend had a son who made videos about beers. So the brewery said, well, then he has to have some of our beers to review. So Peter got a whole case of Hancock Pils.
A mix of all their beers, pretty much. Yeah. So I think is it 6 or 7 we have in total, I think. And the first one we're going to look at is a classic I've had many a times. It's the Hancock Høker Bajer. So you're not going to see pours on this video because all the colors are probably going to be the same because all of them are lagers. Maybe a variation in color because some of them have some darker malts, but they're pretty much going to be the same. So Høker Bajer is a pretty kind of classic Danish Pilsner, I guess. It's one of those beers, if you go to a Danish bodega or like an old style bar, this is one of the nicer Pilsners you can find there. If you don't want to drink, regular mass produced stuff. So this one is made with water, barley malt. It says starches and hops, and then they force carbonate it and they use ascorbinic acids for antioxidants. So 5% Pilsner. So we have it poured, and it looks like a classic Pilsner.
That's a classic Pilsner.
Yeah.
You look straight through it.
Yep. Let's check out the aroma. Yeah. Okay, luckily it's not skunked because it's in an olive green bottle, but I'm not smelling a skunky aroma.
No.
But it pretty much smells like a classic kind of German Pilsner.
Yeah.
Not much.
Malty.
Yeah, sweet malt and some grassy hops.
Yeah.
Let's try it. Cheers. That is actually a rather nice classic lager.
It is.
I'm very surprised by the fact that it doesn't have skunky flavors because it's an olive green bottle, but maybe this is, well, probably fresh from the brewery and it's only been in the trunk of his car and now inside your house. So it hasn't seen too much light. Nope. So that's probably why. But
tasty for a Pilsner.
Classic Pilsner malt flavor, a bit of sweet malt. It definitely has some hop flavor to it. Some lemon, some grassy notes. Kind of classic German noble hop flavor. It's nice. It's like one of those classic sessionable lagers. Nothing to jump for joy over. No. As for a different beer, but it's just a very well brewed beer.
Yeah, if you compare them to other
this is an independent, older, smaller brewery. One of the breweries that survived when there was only macro in Denmark. Yeah. And if you compare it to some of the mass-produced lagers, I think this is better for sure.
Yeah, me too.
This is, I enjoy this. So
it's not a
mind-blowing beer. It's just
no.
Perfect, like lawnmower beer. Yeah. Actually, I've had Høker Bajer a few times if I've been out at. If you've been out with friends to some of these old style bars, then it's a nice beer to try. So what we're going to do on this one is going to be the thumb scale as well because there's so many beers. Yeah. So I'm going to give this one a 1 thumb up, actually.
Yeah, I'll give it a thumb up too.
I think for a lager, this is actually fairly enjoyable.
Yeah, it's fair.
Okay, guys, so we're back with the next beer, and this is the Hancock Torino Øl. So what we found out, we think, is that is an alias, because they do a few beers that they make for organizations and whatnot, where they get their own label, like this one. But we actually think this is the Hancock Pilsner. Yeah. They have a regular Pilsner called Hancock Pilsner, and we think this is the one because the label on the back just says Hancock Pils.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we thought, and it's made with Saaz hops. So Saaz hopped Pilsner, they use a lot of Saaz because on most of their beers it says Saaz hops, and it's Saaz hop from the Czech Republic. So Czech Saaz hops in here. It's the same color.
Same color.
That yellow one.
It don't smell that much.
No, it's
The other one was more smelly.
No, you need to say it had more aroma.
Yeah.
If you say it's more smelly, it sounds bad. But no, because this one is lighter for sure. The other one had more hop aroma and malt aroma.
Yeah.
But it's very light on this one.
This one.
And this one is maybe a bit skunky.
Let's see now.
More malt flavor than hop flavor.
Yeah.
More Pilsner malt flavor. And a bit of skunkiness. But that one was, I think Høker was better because Høker...
Better, yeah, and it was more bitter.
Yeah, and it had much more hop flavor. Actually, Høker is a very nice kind of classic Pilsner. But this is kind of like sweet malty and Pilsner malty. A light grassy hop flavor. And then a bit of skunk and maybe that's about it. I mean, it's not a very flavor. This is more like just, kind of, I don't know if I'd say similar to industrial Pilsners, but it's just way dialed down on the flavor.
Yeah.
This is kind of like malt water.
Yeah, malt water.
Yeah. It's like inoffensive and beer that anyone can drink, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'm like thumbs to the side on this one.
Yeah,
it's inoffensive.
I wouldn't even give it thumb.
No, so it's like,
no, not down and not up. No.
Yeah, so like to the side. It's inoffensive. You can drink it, but it's just like it doesn't have much flavor.
No character.
Yeah, it's just like every other lager.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so we're back with the next Hancock beer, and this is also a Pilsner. But this is an organic Pilsner. So this one is on 5% as well, and this one is made with organic ingredients. Hops are also Saaz hops. This is their organic Pilsner with Saaz hops. And again, same color.
Same color.
It's probably the same ingredients, just they're organic.
Yeah. And what do they do to the taste?
Yeah, we'll see.
No smell.
It's exactly similar on the aroma to the regular Pilsner. The one we just had. Maybe a bit more hop flavor.
Yeah, a bit more. Bit more hoppy.
A bit more grassy and lemony, herbaceous flavor.
Definitely better than the Pilsner.
Yeah, I agree. A bit more sweetness. Almost slightly floral. Slightly flowery. But it's also mild. I still think the most flavorsome has been Høker Bajer, actually. But yeah, it's also like another classic kind of German lager.
Yeah.
Old school, very old school beer. So yeah, this one I'm not gonna go completely thumb up because I don't think it's as good as Høker Bajer, so I'm gonna go like this, like almost thumbs up.
Me too.
Yeah, so see you guys in a bit for the next beers that we will go get. So we're back, guys, with the Hancock Black Hancock Lager. So this one is 5% as well, just like the other lagers. And this is in the style of a Dunkel. A Dunkellager, or Dunkellager. Yeah, I guess that's what you'd call it, which is a Czech style of lager where you use some darker malts to give it a darker color, but it's not made with roasted malts as a Schwarzbier from Germany.
No.
So we've been saying that they're German-like in tradition, but I guess you'd have to say they're more Czech-like because all of them so far say.
Well, German
German
is a bit Czech-like.
It is. I think the original Pilsner is from Pilsen in the Czech Republic, but the Germans also make Pilsner, but there is actually style distinctions, but that's something I'd have to read up on. It's been a while since I've looked up lagers because it's not something I review often. But this is a black lager, and this was actually, back in the day, the Duke of Delirium, Mass's go-to beer.
It was?
Yeah, before he got into craft beer. So he would drink this all the time, he said.
Mm.
So we got that poured, and you can immediately see a difference in color and also carbonation. This doesn't look like it has as much carbonation, and it's more of a copper
Couple
color.
Yeah.
and a beige-like head to it.
Yeah, beige head.
Let's check out the aroma.
Malty.
I got beer on my nose. Oops. Don't need to take the lid for that. What are you smelling?
You put your nose too far into it.
Yeah. It's definitely got some sweeter malt and caramelly tones to it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the hop aroma is similar. It's definitely like that kind of spicy, grassy, lemony, kind of classic noble hop aroma to it.
Yeah.
But a bit more malt flavor. And it's,
much more malt.
Yeah. Like caramel and toffee and whatnot, but not as like rich and stouts and whatnot. It's
No. But
nowhere near. But it's definitely.
I'm comparing to the other one.
Of course, of course. More aroma. Let's try it. Cheers. This one actually has more malt flavor. It has tones of caramel, definitely also Pilsner malt flavor, but tones of toasty, not roasty, but toasted malt.
Yeah.
And caramel, and then pretty much the same hop flavor as the other ones, which is actually pretty interesting that they can keep that consistency of hop flavor, except in the Høker Bajer that had more hop flavor.
I think the hop flavors in this one is as intense as the Høker Bajer.
Yeah, I actually would agree with that, and it seems a bit more bitter, which might be from the malts too, but it's definitely got that herbaceous, noble hop character, grassy, peppery, spicy, and then with a bit of malt. By no means, mind-blowing beer, but definitely more, like, it's still sessionable and very drinkable, and being on 5% that is as well, it also makes it sessionable, but it's just got a more flavor to it. I'm actually going to go thumbs up just like Høker Bajer.
Yeah, me too.
I think I like this and Høker Bajer the most. So we're back, guys, with probably the most popular Hancock beer, their flagship beer, the Hancock Beer. A nostalgic beer for you, Dad.
Yeah, it is. In my youth, when I just got paid, I went and bought one of these. But at that time, you only got them in this size bottles. So it was pretty expensive, but already at that time, I thought it was a super good beer.
Yeah, it's like one of the, like back when you were young, you didn't have many alternatives to lager.
No.
Regular Pilsners. But because this is not a Pilsner, this is a Hiller Bock. They say themselves on the label that they call it a gulløl, which is a Danish term for a stronger beer. Kind of like a weird generic term that's been created because a lot of beers have the term gulløl, but often by style that is categorized as a Dortmunder export lager, which is a type of lager from Germany. But according to what we've seen online, this is actually categorized as a Hellerbock because usually Dortmund export doesn't go up in the 6% range, which this does. So 6.3% is in Bock territory, so that's why I think it's categorized as a Hellerbock. So that might be why you liked it back in the day, maybe, because Bocks usually have a bit more flavor than lagers.
Yeah.
Regular Pilsners. So it's kind of cool, like Dad's first kind of gateway, I don't know if you should say gateway craft beer thing because it was so way back in the day, but Dad's, first, wow, beer can taste different experience. That's actually this beer, where mine was the Bajer beer.
Yeah, it's
which is kind of funny.
We're talking
70s?
The first years of the 70s.
Yeah, so that's a while back. But it says here on the label, which is kind of weird, luxury beer class 2, whatever that means. And first class Danish beer, says the same ingredients, 6.3%, and then brewed for export and founded in 1876. So yeah, they're flagship beer.
A bit fantastic that they can keep up doing the same beer that many years.
Yeah, for sure. So they say on the label that it's a little bit stronger in flavor than Høker Bajer, which is one of the other ones we had earlier, which was one of our favorites.
Pretty okay.
Yeah. So a Hiller Bock. And
Bock.
It's a nice golden yellow color. It's actually very much similar in color to the Pilsners.
Yeah.
So let's check out the aroma on Hancock Beer. It's similar to Høker Bajer, actually. It's just got more sweet malt, for sure. And definitely also a good hop character. Like a kick of very grassy and spicy.
I'm smelling the hops and I'm smelling the sweetness.
Yeah, sweet malt.
Mm-hmm.
Pilsner malty aroma. It's kind of like the other beers, just amplified on the aroma.
Yeah. They stepped up a bit.
Yeah. Let's try it.
Let's try it.
Cheers.
Yes.
Now that's actually got some flavor compared to the others. That's actually rather nice. And oddly enough, all the other ones are in lime green bottles except this one. It's more brown, which is a bit weird. But you taste it, it's got a bit more alcohol to it. It's not boozy or anything. You can taste it a bit. It's got more bitterness, as you said.
More bitterness.
More bitterness.
And more malt. More hop.
Hop flavor.
Yeah.
It's got like grassy and floral. Very lemony, actually. And it's definitely also got more sweet malt and Pilsner malt character to it. I think it's pretty tasty. It's kind of like the others amplified. You can definitely taste it's like a stronger beer, both in well, I don't know. I wouldn't say you taste the alcohol, but you can definitely taste that it's like they've had to double the ingredients to get it at the ABV. And
yeah, and perhaps the alcohol makes it a bit sweeter.
Mm-hmm. Because there's some sweetness to it, but it's kind of balanced by the hops. No, this is a thumb up for me. I think we've got the 3 winners so far in the black lager, this one, and the
the nostalgic for me makes it a big thumbs up.
So you're gonna give it a 2 thumbs up?
No, not 2, but 1.5.
Okay. So yeah, we'll see you guys soon with a double block. So we're back, guys, with the next Hancock beer, the one in the big bottle that Dad reminisced about. This is the Hancock Sas Brew on 8.1% pure malt Saaz hops, it says on the label. And this is a double bock. So now we're getting somewhere with some interesting styles, because the others were, just Pilsners, and then we had one Hitler Bock and a Dunkel Lager. So this one is only hopped with Saaz hops and made with darker malts, and then they age it for at least 180 days at 0 degrees Celsius. So yeah, a double bock. It's been a long ass time since I had a double bock. I don't even recount when I have had one. It's not a style I drink often anymore, or never really. But it's like, you remember Sammy Klaus and those kind of those are double bocks.
I had that for my Christmas calendar for several years ago.
Yeah. You can definitely see the color on this is much darker. It's like straight brown with some kind of mahogany or ruby red tones, and the head is a bit more beige. Check out the aroma on the Sas Brew. Yeah, this is classic German double bock.
It is really classic.
Caramel and toffee. Very malt forward. It's funny that they chose to call it Sas Brew, because it's not a style that really showcases the hops. Double bocks are super malty sweets, and it's oddly enough my favorite of the bocks, maybe with the ice bocks. But do you smell? What do you smell?
I smell the sweetness of malt.
And maybe a bit of alcohol?
Yeah, a bit of alcohol, and don't pick up any hops at all.
No, which is so weird since they named it after a hop.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
Yeah, but it's also got a bit of dark fruit, maybe. Yeah, it smells like classic German double bock. So yeah, you want to try it? And shout out to DJ's BrewTube, because bocks are his thing. Like it's another YouTube reviewer. He got into bocks as the first beers.
Okay.
I guess kind of like you, actually, since the other one was a Hitler Bock, and it's the one you reminisced about. But let's try it. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Well, now we actually got some interesting flavor profiles going.
I don't know.
That is actually really good.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the best Hancock beers I've had. That is surprisingly good. I didn't expect this, because this is like very close to some of the nicer German double bocks. Or maybe it's just also because we've had like 4 or 5 3. No, actually we've had 4 lagers in a row.
Yeah.
That hasn't had much flavor. So
And then you get this mouthful. You think, oh boy, that's good.
Medium mouthfeel, kind of slightly oily. Definitely caramel, toffee, toasted nuts, hazelnuts. Yeah, finally, we got some complexity of flavor. And I don't really taste the Saaz hops. It's got some bitterness, but that can come from the malt too.
No.
It's so weird that they decided to name it Saaz because this is a malt-forward beer. Very malt-forward.
That's a malt full of beer, and you don't get any hops at all.
Maybe just a generic bitterness on the back end, but it's light because the sweetness is stronger than the hop flavor. And yeah, again, toasted nuts, roasty, or maybe not roasty, but just toasty, and bready, freshly baked bread, rye bread.
Yeah. It fills up
The mouth more than the others. Yeah,
really fills up the mouth.
I'm gonna go 1.5 thumbs up. It's not 2 thumbs up because it's not like, wow, this is awesome, but it is actually a very well made double buck.
I'll be in the 2 thumbs.
Do we in the 2 thumbs?
Yeah. I think it's good.
So guys, we're back. We changed location because the sun is slowly setting, so we had to change up a bit and also take the blind things off or roll them back up. They're basically there for warmth when it's dark in this little. What do you call this? It's not even a cabin. What is this?
No, it's a bonfire cabin.
Yeah, that's what we call it, but I think it has another name. But that doesn't matter because we're moving on to the 2 last beers that we have from Hancock. And this is a beer that, as far as I remember, I do not like at all. At least this version of it. This is the Hancock Old Gambrinus Beer Light. So now for a lot of Danish people who are into beer, this is one of their gateway beers, along with the dark version. And the light version here is an Imperial Pilsner on 9.6% alcohol. Of course, made with Saaz hops, as all the other Hancock beers. And it says, even though it's called light, it's still a very powerful and strong and flavorful beer with a heavy mouthfeel, and they use a lot of great amounts of ingredients when they brew this. Also, we actually have a small fire going just to keep all the wasps and mosquitoes away. So that's also one of the reasons why we had to change location, because of the wind. But no, so this is the one we have poured now. 9.6% Imperial Pilsner.
It's
Old Gambrinus Light.
It's a strong beer.
Yeah. No head on mine anymore.
Let's check out the aroma.
Well, the color first.
Oh yeah.
It's a bit darker than the Pilsners.
Yeah.
But not much. Kind of like a golden color.
Yeah, golden color.
Check out the aroma. Yeah, I do not like the aroma on this beer at all, really. I think it smells like alcohol.
Yeah.
For sure, like booze. Lots of sweet malt, and definitely the alcohol. Grainy a bit too. Yeah. Let's try this one. I don't think I'm gonna like this one. We'll see. I just don't like Imperial Pilsners. That is not my kind of beer. It's definitely tasting like a 9.6% beer, I think.
Yeah.
It is warming, and it tastes like alcohol. And it's kind of controversial because a lot of Danish people really like this who are into beer, but I just think it's not my kind of beer. It's definitely got a kind of like a somewhat nice sweet malt profile, but because it's like a light version, it's just like really, really alcoholic and sweet Pilsner. Because it's got the same light kind of body. Maybe a bit oily.
It's definitely the alcohol that tastes through in this beer.
Yeah, it's the alcohol that dominates. You're getting maybe a bit of generic hop flavor, but not really. It's more like alcohol and sweet malt flavor.
Sweet malt and alcohol.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go thumbs down on this. And that's probably a bit controversial for some people, but I do not like the Gambrinus Light. This, I even had this in a foul beer tasting. This is not a beer for me. And that's personal preference, guys. Some of you might like this, but I've never been a big fan of like Imperial lagers or Pilsners. Except if we talk, your double box and like beers that have more malt complexity to it. This is just like sweet and alcoholic. It's leading my mind to some of those kind of industrial high ABV lagers like Master Brew and stuff like that. Just a bit more pleasant, but still it is not my cup of tea. So I'm actually going to go thumbs down. The only beer so far with a thumbs down, but I do not like this. And I got to be honest for you guys watching. So nope, no, not for me. What about you, Dad?
I wouldn't say thumbs down, but it's not my kind of beer. No.
So maybe a thumbs to the side?
Yeah.
So guys, we're back with the last Hancock beer from this brewery showcase. That has been a bit long probably so far, but hopefully I can edit it down to a watchable or viewable length. But the last beer, guys, is Old Gambrinus Dark. And Dad just made a little joke and said, so you wonder why I only have 2 bottles of this one left and still a ton of the light. So, yeah, these are there's one more bottle of this dark. But this is the Old Gambrinus Beer Dark, which is a double bock on 9.5%. So that is a really strong double bock, actually. The other one was 1.1, the Sas Brew, which was really nice, actually. And this says it's brewed with darker malts and whatnot, and that it's a good alternative to red wine, and it's a beer you can age. And that's actually true. I've heard a lot of people that they age this beer for quite a while, actually, to get it more, oxidized and develop those kind of port wine type flavors. So it should be interesting. It's a 0.1 or 0.1% lower than the other one, but we thought we'd do this last because it's darker and probably has more flavor. So we got it poured, and it's pretty much the same color as the Sas Brew, I'd say. Yeah. It's like a brown, a mahogany reddish color. Beige-ish head?
Beige head.
Yeah, check out the aroma. Yeah, that smells much nicer. That actually smells like some caramel and toffee and fudge and freshly baked bread, and very similar to the Sas Brew, maybe, actually.
A bit like rye bread.
Yeah. It does have a bit of alcohol, though, but nowhere near as much as the light brew. No. But yeah, definitely like caramel, sweet malt, breadiness, hints of dark fruits. I can actually see why people might like this one with age too, because like with age you get more of that port wine type flavor and more dark fruits as well. But it smells nice.
Yeah.
Let's try it. Cheers.
Try it, Peter.
We'll do it. Yeah, that's got much better flavor than the light version. This is more. It's a tad more oily and sweet than the Sas Brew, but it's definitely. I mean, you still taste it's 9.5%, but it's not as boozy. No. Like you can really taste. Like that's the thing. I like the malt backbone hides the alcohol much better than like such a like light malt bodied or light malty beer.
The light one, you really just tasted the alcohol.
Yeah, because you didn't have all those malt complexities.
But this one, yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, caramel,
much more than the white one.
Yeah, caramel, toffee. Definitely, like almost like caramel. It leaves a sticky gloss on your lips, like some kind of like imperial stouts and whatnot do. It's like sweet in that front too for sure. Kind of like brown sugary almost. I'm gonna go thumbs up on this one. I still think my favorite is the Sas Brew.
I'll give it 2.
My favorite of the bunch was Sas Brew.
Yeah.
What about you? Is it Gambrinus Dark?
I think Gambrinus and the Sas Brew was
the best ones.
Pretty much the same for me.
I like Sas Brew a bit more because it's a bit lighter. Like it seems a bit more drinkable. Because you do taste a bit of an alcohol in this one. You don't do that on the Sas Brew. But still, those are my favorite for sure. That was a little fun tasting. Pretty much almost all of the beers that Hancock does.
I think it was cozy.
Yeah, it was. It's Høker, as we say in Danish.
Yeah. Because how often can you taste everything
from one brewery?
From one brewery in one day.
Yeah. That's true. It's been fun. It's a more classic brewery, but I definitely recommend trying something like this or the Sas Brew. Or Høker Bajer. I think of all the light beers, Høker, Bajer, and then the classic Hancock beer.
The classic Hancock beer.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend try it if you can.
If you want, guys, I definitely say try it as well because again, it's one of the more historic or classical Danish breweries that they're not as big and industrial as
No.
If you guys have had a chance to try any of the beers showcased in this video, definitely let us know what you thought of them. And hopefully you stuck through the length of this one because it's going to be quite long because there's so many beers. But I thought it would be cool to do like a Hancock Brewery showcase on this one. As I said earlier, because it's not a brewery that many of you guys probably know unless you're from Denmark. So thanks a ton for watching. Again, let us know what you thought. We're probably a little tipsy now, but we also went through.
Thanks to Jesper.
Oh, of course, yeah, Jesper.
And thanks to Hancock for letting us try it.
Yeah, it was fun. So, thanks to Jesper and Hancock as well. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram, and give us a thumbs up. And we're gonna say cheers. And go have some smoked turkey breast that's been smoking all day whilst we've been reviewing beer.
Yeah.
And see,
not to mention that we have to eat some of our homegrown vegetables.
your homegrown vegetables, but yeah. So it's gonna be a nice time after this. So cheers, guys, and see you in another beer review. Cheers, Ed.